Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Kelly Wenzel. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Andela. I'm thrilled to be your host for today's live stream. Today, we're going to talk about how ISG accelerated product delivery and also bridge skill gaps to jumpstart GenAI projects. They were looking at specifically how to improve time to hire so that they could do these things. And I'm so excited to introduce you to our speaker. But before I do that, I need to cover a little bit of housekeeping. So 3 quick items. So first, we are live streaming. So we are welcoming guests from all over the world. I encourage you to introduce yourself, show some love to our speaker, use the emojis during our presentations, introduce yourself, drop any questions or comments into the chat. No guarantee we'll get to all of them, but we certainly will try, because the whole point of being live is that we can keep it interactive. Second, we always get this question, so I'll address it now, which is yes, a recording will be made available. We'll publish that on LinkedIn and YouTube after the event. And then finally, I just want to direct anybody who's interested in learning more about Andela. Obviously, go to andela.com/resources. There's lots of information there that can help you get more up to speed on Andela and what we do. So with that, I would love to introduce my guest speaker for today, Kathy Rudy. Hey, Kathy.
Hi. Happy to be here.
I know, so excited. Kathy is the Chief Data and Analytics Officer for Information Services Group. So with that, Kathy spearheads their ISG's data and platforms. The goal essentially is to deliver new and valuable insights to their client base and also deliver platform efficiencies to their internal teams. In addition to platform development, Kathy also sits on the ISG Executive Board. She is a sponsor for their ESG program, and she's also supporting a thriving community of women leaders with ISG's Women in Digital program. So Kathy, super excited to have you join me today.
I'm really excited to be here as well, Kelly. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think what's so cool about this is that you sit in a really interesting position for this conversation, given what ISG does, right? ISG is a global technology and research firm specifically advising other companies on how and where to hire global talent, among other things. So I think I would probably be doing it a disservice if I tried. So would you be open to just giving the team an introduction on ISG?
Sure, I'd love to. So as you said, ISG is a global technology research and advisory firm. So what does that really mean? We advise our clients on how to put together the right ecosystem of partners, providers, global talent to meet their goals, their strategies around digital initiatives, business process initiatives, cognitive and analytics, all sorts of things that you would go out and look for talent in the marketplace for. In addition, we track knowledge and data around the market. So we bring together a partnership of who can help best support a client with data and information that we collected around these partners or providers. What are the best use cases? Who has the right talent? And we connect people together. So the data part is helping people see what's possible, and then helping them find the right partner to drive their strategy. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we do. And my job is to manage all the data that goes along with supporting not only our internal teams to provide that data back to our clients, but building platforms and products for internal and external use.
So I'd love if we just start any particular challenges that you see in your role. And I think where I'm going maybe as a tee up to this this conversation, Kathy, is like we look at data. I know like KPMG has issued reports saying that there is going to be a shortage of engineers. I think their forecast was over 1 million engineers in the US alone. So there's an acknowledged shortage of engineering talent that is going to be available. And then you're operating in the data analytics field, one of the hottest sectors out there. I think I went and did a little research, and I think the most recent stat I could find was from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, and they said data science in particular was one of the fastest growing job families, and I think in the next decade, like a 35% growth rate, which is far higher than most other occupations. So like, how does that lens color how you're looking at your project work?
Right. So when people source, some of the key reasons are access to talent. So that is one of the biggest reasons. They're looking to obtain talent that they don't currently have or can't train for fast enough. There's other reasons, there's cost reasons, et cetera, but that access to talent really drive things. And as you mentioned, data and analytics, particularly data and analytics who have generative AI skills now, or AI skills, totally hot area, along with what you can imagine is cyber and some other specific technologies that we put in place. And ISG obviously has those same challenges. So when we're going to put together products and services, we have resources internally that are extremely talented, but oftentimes we find that we need to also partner in order to bring the right skills to the table at the right time and in the right speed. So we need access to talent, speed of delivery, of getting things up and running, just like our clients do. And we often then look to the external market to help support those initiatives.
Well, let's dive in then. Let's like get to, I guess, brass tacks in a specific example. So do you want to walk us through, I think it was Tango was the name of the application, if we can jump ahead a slide. And maybe you could just set the stage for like, what were you trying to accomplish? What was the challenge? How did we help? Yeah.
Yeah. So great. So ISG Tango is a sourcing platform, and ISG is known in the industry as being a sourcing advisory firm. We started to look internally and we said, okay, how do we maintain our position in the market? And we decided that we needed to take our future source methodology, so our sourcing methodology, and put it onto a digitized platform. We needed to drive efficiencies internally, but also reduce friction for our clients, for service providers, law firms that would all join onto the platform, as well as drive a better client experience, because that's what it's all about right now, is driving experiences for our clients that are friction-free and deliver a superior performance. So we decided to build ISG Tango. We realized that we were going to need a combination of talent to put together and deliver on the platform and the goals we'd set for ourselves. So we have our internal developers, super talented engineers that understand our APIs and some of the microservices that we could deliver to the platform. We went to a third party to help us with the UX, UI, that front end development, making it a really beautiful experience for our clients. And then we sat back and thought, you know what, we now are leaving a gap in supporting the platforms that we currently have that we need to maintain and continue to enhance and build features. I then turned to Andela. And my experience where I first learned about Andela, I had been to a CIO conference and I heard somebody on stage talk about Andela. Never heard about them before. And what really struck me as being unique was the fact that they have a platform where they bring the talent on, they help train the talent, they nurture the talent, and they don't. It was different in the sense that I felt like they're shepherding of the talent through to when a client actually engages with them, like myself, but they don't just go away. That had not been my experience in the past. So there seemed to be like this 360 relationship, a relationship with me and Andela, a relationship with me and the talent that I got from Andela, but also the talent and Andela back. And that was exciting to me and interesting. So we decided to go out and work with Andela to find talent to support the platforms that we would leave a little bit of a gap in while we were building Tango. Flash forward, the talent was so great. We decided that, oh, wow, we really want to have them help us with Tango. So they are now supporting the Tango platform. And we just made some, changes around how we are delivering. But we were really impressed with the quality of the talent, the depth of experience they had, the way that they interface with our teams, and really put them onto the platform to help build it out. And we launched in March and are, moving forward with features and enhancements, and the Andela team is right by our side.
I love that. Like love the shout out for our talent team. If they're listening, would be especially proud. I think what you're referring to is not only our talent acquisition team, but also our talent success partners. So like that we're
Yes.
matched up with talent to make
Mhm.
sure that they're having a good experience on the engagement. Not only is that good for them, but it actually delivers better client outcome.
Right.
I, the most recent data that we actually had from our CSAT, our customer satisfaction survey, was that 98% of our clients were satisfied with talent quality. And I love hearing you talk about like your experience there and how it actually led you to think about using the talent differently.
Mhm. Yeah, it really did. And you saying that, we had the, client success or the customer success team, but it was really important to me that the team we had from Mandela working with us heard back from you and you made sure that they were comfortable with the position, they were satisfied, they were getting everything that they needed. Started with onboarding and went, still continues to this day. And the onboarding was also a different experience for us, I have to say, where you were really every step of the way working with us to get the talent onboarded onto our systems, making sure that we could, from the tactical thing of shipping a laptop to Pakistan to just making sure that they felt included and were being valued by us and by Andela. And it's a really great relationship, and it's
Thank
unique
you.
to me. Market. It really is.
I, yeah, I appreciate that. And I'm sure the talent does too. I think what's interesting too is like you talked about, this the Tango is essentially a digital transformation project, right? Like you're going to digitize this application so you can deliver a better client experience. And the use case of how you envisioned applying the talent changed over time, like started maybe, if I could say a bit more tactically, and then actually got to how the talent could help ISG accelerate innovation. Are you
Right.
able to talk like in specific terms at all, Kathy, about like how much faster was your time to delivery as a result of being able to apply talent onto the project?
Well, I think that it started with the speed in which we were able to actually find talent. Um,
Mm.
Leveraging the Andela platform, I have to say, it's part of the onboarding for any client, and I didn't think about it. And then when I needed some talent, it was probably like, after hours, and I was like, well, maybe I'll go on that platform. So I went on the
Oh,
platform.
Adele. Oh, you're talking literally being able to go into the Andela Talent
Yes,
Cloud and do it
yes,
yourself. So
yeah,
I'll say for the audience, I don't know if a lot of people realize this, that, you can actually self-serve, right?
yeah.
It's as simple, and I guess maybe you should describe your experience, right? Like create a JD and why don't you walk us through it? What happened?
So then I was thinking, okay, I need some talent. Went on, and most platforms you kind of struggle around with pretty easy. It's like, okay, what do you need? And you go in and there's a list of the different technology skills you might require. You put those in. What is the primary? Then there's a place for the secondary. You like basically push a button and it comes up with a list of resources. And then you directly link into their profile to see what experience they've had, what sort of projects they've delivered, everything, the location, the years of experience, et cetera, et cetera. And then you can click on the ones that you're interested in and automatically set up an interview and then actually then send that to someone on your team to also do the interview. So it made it super fast. There wasn't a lot of toing and froing back and forth before you actually got to look at talent. It was in my fingertips in minutes actually. And that led us to being able to hire somebody. I probably took just a few days to get to the interviews, to deciding who we wanted to bring on board, and then the Andela team took over to make sure that the, onboarding experience happened, where I think in other situations, it takes weeks. So this took,
Right.
a week versus weeks, and somehow I felt so much more confident that we're gonna get the right skill the first time, and
Mm.
I also knew that Andela was gonna keep in touch with not just me, but with the talent to make sure everything was working out. So that to me was a huge speed on which we were able to bring new talent on to help support the initiatives that we had. And then once they're on board, something we do, I don't know if everyone does, but I would call this a best practice, is to really include that talent in your ongoing discussions, help them understand the strategy, why you're doing what you're doing, who it's for, what you're trying to get out of the development effort, and really include them in all of your meetings instead of saying, okay, here's your little bit of work, here's your patch, go do it, and then send it back to us when you're done. we found that really incorporating the Andela team and anyone that's on the project in a comprehensive way helped drive a better outcome, higher quality development, less rework, et cetera.
I love that. Yeah, I'm sure we'll touch on that at the end. I'm going to tee you up for like what guidance you have. So I'm curious. You have a successful experience here with Tango. Starts from maybe doing some maintenance work to accelerating innovation. Like, did you guys stop there? What was next?
Oh, no. So we are, we have a roadmap that's huge, as anyone would. As we rolled out the product to our clients and to our teams and et cetera, everyone's giving us, feature requests that we want. And we have our own ideas. So we're continuing to build and grow that platform, adding some generative AI capability and functionality to it, multi-language. We have, like I said, it's a massive roadmap and we're pretty excited about the outcome.
So let's shift gears then. I know one of the things we promised that we would talk about is GenAI. And so from Andela's perspective, I'll just say, we hear from customers and prospects, they typically fall into like one of two swim lanes. One swim lane is we're getting a lot of top-down pressure from the board or the C-suite. What are we doing with Gen AI? Like, it's a little bit of what are we doing? We got to do something. And so they're looking for help us define use cases. Andela developed a specific POC offering to help like staff teams to go support that work. And then the second thing we see is more what I think was the ISG scenario, which is they knew exactly what problem they wanted to solve, what the use case was, but they lacked the skill sets to do it. So do you want to talk a little bit about like, if we can jump to the next slide, my team, what was the use case? What were you guys trying to do? And then let's take it from there.
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of data from our research side that we manage, and we work to help our clients better understand the market and who could be the right partners. We write a specific set of reports called the ISG Provider Lens, and it's kind of like a 4-box for specific technologies or specific services or products that you would source for. And the reports are really long. I mean, there's really long, a lot of research goes into them. And it's funny you say, Kelly, that the CEO kind of a top down. So we kind of had that. So we, everyone's talking about, AI, generative AI, how are we going to use it? What are we going to do? So we had like a half day working session to talk about what were the use cases that we thought would be great for ISG in terms of generative AI. And we came upon the fact that we have all this research reports, the IPLs, and wouldn't it be great if you could start to access the IPLs with more of a natural language instead of having to read the whole report? So how could you leverage AI to give you answers about what's in those reports, and not just the report that you're looking at, but perhaps across reports, so that you might be able to do some comparisons or, look at a broader set of reports by asking questions leveraging generative AI. As anyone out there knows, it's not magic and it's not as easy as it sounds. But I was like, oh, generative AI will do that. You just ask it a question. Well, not quite. So we decided the use case would be around these IPL reports, and working with the CIO. Okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to stand it up? We don't really have the talent in-house. And I don't want to say that we don't have talented people, but they didn't have the experience. They hadn't done it yet. So did we have the time to train somebody and go through the process of getting them up and ready and skilled to do the project? We decided, no, we did not. So we reached back out to Andela, leveraging, what we knew we needed for the skills, quickly did some interviews, quickly landed on a resource or talent that the CIO himself personally vetted, and is now like, if you say potentially that this resource may leave, he like says, no, you can't take them. You can't. So we got such a, he's like, I talked to him yesterday and he was like, I'm like, so how's, and he's like, oh, don't say anything. We're keeping, he's got to stay. So anyways, it was like a really perfect match, made us super productive, really helped speed up the use case and our ability to deliver it out back to our teams. But that is just one instance. And I'm sure anyone out there listening has a million use cases for generative AI. And we really got super fortunate with the connection to Andela and the ability to get the right resource on this project. So, yeah, pretty exciting.
I love it. I love it. Well, speaking of anyone out there, I'm just going to encourage. I'm seeing we've got pings and prompts from LinkedIn, from Twitter, from all over, and I'm just going to remind you all, if you have questions for me or Kathy, pop them into the comments. We will try to get to them. Would love to. Actually, we're here for it. So Kathy, thinking about this, I guess I would ask you. You've got multiple projects now where you have leveraged global talent to come in, and in one case it was about capacity and ability to accelerate delivery of a project. In another case it was, hey, we have a skill gap, so that you could again jumpstart and move faster on delivery. These are really two common business problems that Andela sees all the time. I'm curious, now having done it, what would you give as best practice guidance? And I think we have a slide teed up for you to speak to, but at least to start, what would you say are the learnings that you would share to others who are like, hey, I am going to look at augmenting my team with some of these global resources so that we can, I don't know, do a follow the sun model, so that we can get added capacity, so that we can fill a skill gap. I think it'd be great if you would share your learnings.
Sure. I would say first, think really hard about the type of skill you're looking for or the type of talent. What kind of experience you want them to have, what kind of technology they should be familiar with. Write it down. Leverage the platform, the Andela platform, the Talent Cloud, and go in and start to look. Put in your requirements and start to look at what talent is out there. That might help you actually generate more ideas on what skills you actually need when you start to look at their experience and the use cases that they bring. So first of all, know what you need a little bit before you start to look, and then you'll learn some things I think on the platform. That was my experience. Once you do your interviews and you figure out, the talents you'd like or the team you'd like to bring on board, for us, the really critical thing was really making them part of our team. It didn't feel like they were Andela versus ISG versus et cetera.
Sitting on an island.
Right. It was one team. We really let them know why we were doing what we were doing, what our strategy was, what our outcomes were supposed to be. They got invited to all the stand-ups. They were part of providing recommendations, and we didn't want them to just sit in the background. If your experience tells you there's something we should be doing different, or you've got an idea, give it to us. We wanted it, and they felt comfortable that we really did want those ideas, and they brought new things to the table that we might not have thought about. So that inclusion was huge, to bringing them into our team and making them feel part of the project. And I think it just makes a better satisfied, global team in general, if they do feel like they're not just, sitting, like I said, on an island, or here's your little bit of work, we'll talk to you when we need you. We really liked everyone to be included and part of the team. And then that I think gave permission to give ideas. They felt comfortable. You have to build that trust. And once you build that trust, then things really start to flow. That was, I think, my most critical learning. Know what you need, do some research. You might learn some new stuff, but really make them part of your team if at all possible. And it's just going to create a smoother and better outcome and move things faster than you probably could have ever imagined, and give you new ideas.
Yeah, I'll just echo. I love that. I was sitting down with a head of platform at another one of our clients in New York recently, and she shared a very similar anecdote, which was, we use our Andelans as part of the team, even though they're here on assignment. And, just for the audience, I'll say, like, the average Andela assignment tends to be 18 plus months. It's not like, it's not gig work the way you would think of gig work being really short term. But her point was, because they had solicited the input and really embedded into the team, one of their Andelans actually surfaced suggestions that helped them save over $1 million out of their GCP, Google Cloud instance.
Right.
And I mean, like, talk about someone, you know what I mean? Like, contract resource having meaningful impact on the business. And that's because they truly treated them as an integrated and embedded part of the team. I do have a couple questions I want to get to from the audience. The first one is, how did you determine what skill gap or what skills you needed for your GenAI project?
Well, we had our use case and we did our enterprise architect actually sat and kind of scoped out the project. And then he went back to the CIO and said, these are the skills we're going to need. So it was a lot about building out the data sets and putting together the way that we would query against our research papers. So it started with our enterprise architect really looking at the project. We told him the outcomes that we wanted. He then thought about, okay, how do we build those outcomes? And then went to the CIO and said, okay, these are the skills we need. We don't have them. We can build them or we can buy them, I guess, to put it very simply. And so we chose to go out to the market for the global talent.
Okay. I actually have someone asking if Andela is an outsourcing outfit. And I would say not in the traditional definition of outsourcing, like your kind of big box consultant outsourcing providers. You would think about using Andela really for adaptive talent. So like when you have projects that you need to bring on capacity or you need to fill a skill gap, I would say it's more bespoke. Like you're not going and creating a team of, I don't know, hundreds of people sitting in an isolated room in some geography doing work. It tends to be much more specific to what project or what remit or a skill gap that you're trying to fit, and dialing up or down on demand, adapting as business needs change. It's not as kind of whole cloth, less flexible or less agile as I think a traditional outsourcing approach would be. It's not monolithic, I guess. Yeah.
It's not a managed service. Yeah, it's not a managed service. It's more, yeah.
Right. Well, we do offer managed projects. We do have clients who actually are like, I actually don't want to manage the talent. We want, here's the objective, here's the end game. Andela, don't just provide us the talent, but project manage it as well. We do that. That really depends on, if the client wants to do that. I would say we still see more where they want talent inserted and embedded into their teams. I know we're rounding up. I got another question, whether or not you were able to test anything on mobile with GenAI yet.
Yeah, we just launched our mobile app with generative AI. So yes. I don't know what you're specifically looking for, but yeah, we launched a mobile app last week.
This is hot off the presses.
Yeah, well, it's internal. It's an internal mobile app that we provided to our teams. You need to stay competitive, and so we launched ISG Boost, and it's got generative AI capabilities inside of it for our internal teams.
Great. And then last one, we're rounding up with just a minute. So maybe a speed round, Kathy. For someone else who is considering using a company like Andela to bring on talent that, this elastic adaptive approach that you can dial up or down, use for capacity, use for skill gaps, like what guidance would you have? Anything beyond like embed them and treat them as part of your team?
I think I said, really know what you need so that you make sure you make the right decisions, or you're really searching for the right skill set. That was important to me. Like they would tell me, Kathy, we need somebody. Can you go? I'd be like, okay, wait, let's back up. What specifically do we require? What do we want them to deliver? And that really helped us be faster. I think Andela can go as fast as you can go, but knowing what you need up front is important.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I so appreciate it. So I want to be respectful of everybody's time. I'm just going to point to, we have just issued a new white paper. You can use this QR code to download it. The future of hiring is borderless. We believe there is a world of untapped talent out there. that companies aren't tapping into to help solve some of these problems that can truly accelerate delivery, jumpstart, help pull projects above the line so that, that you might not be able to get them. Everybody is sitting in the same situation. Kathy, I think you are a very long roadmap and not often resourced to get to all of it. And Andela is a type of solution that can help with that. So if you're interested, I encourage you to check out that white paper. For now, I just want to say, everybody, thanks so much for your time. Truly appreciate it. Kathy, thank you for sharing your perspective.
Absolutely.
Cheers, everybody. Have a great day.